conversation. I am the co-host Alistair Sampson, and of course, I have with me here Mr. Crossley, sir, aka Christopher Crossley, in the house with us tonight. Good night, Chris. What's going on, man?
Yes, yes. Good night, everyone. Welcome to another night here in the conversation with the Mantle Movement. I hope
Mhm.
everyone had a great week so far. I know it's only Tuesday, but this is from last week Tuesday I'm talking about. I hope the last week has been great. Today was a beautiful day for me. I loved it. We got some rain, kept the
Oh,
temperature down,
yes.
you know, So I was a bit in my glee today. I was praying for rain and it came. So, I'm happy. So, as usual, let's just, start with the check-in. So how was the last week for you, my buddy?
Well, last week wasn't that bad at all, and coming into this week as well, too. I mean, personally, everything has been going okay. Mindset wise, well, kids doing okay so far. I mean, this whole um, school from home, this has been working out for them and everything like that, but they still had to be monitoring just to make sure that they're still able to socialize and connect with people online, persons from the class, etc. So far that's been all good. I think my only concern, and I think I've been seeing it so far, is with respect to the rise in numbers of COVID that we have had in Trinidad and Tobago over the past few days. I mean, we're seeing it coming up with respect to what has happened, as you rightfully said, over the Easter weekend and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's a little bit concerning in terms of all of that. I just, hoping and praying that that we as a country, we get back into that area of discipline to make sure that we sanitize, wear the mask, the social distancing, because COVID not sleeping.
No.
You're seeing that. COVID don't take vacation. COVID don't say, all right, let me give all your blight to go to the beach. COVID not doing anything like that at all. So those who figure, unfortunately, over the Easter weekend, our COVID has taken a rest and salt water will wash off the COVID. Well, there's another thing coming there, So we just got to make sure and keep our mind in the right place and do what we need to do to get back on track. What about
Yeah.
you, Chris? How has it been for you so far?
Well, same old for me, which I'm glad for. Nothing has changed in terms of that. I tell most people I work every day at just, developing myself, maintaining my sanity. One sec. I'm seeing Miss Smith Simon said some volume, please. So she's not hearing us somewhere. So you can
Okay,
check the
okay,
levels
okay.
there all of a sudden you get a chance. Are you
Yeah,
hearing
no
me
problem.
clearly, Miss Smith Simon? Are you hearing me clearly?
All right. We just hope so.
Let me know in the comments if you're hearing us clearly, please.
All
Uh,
right.
so yeah, so for the last week, I basically as always focused on my personal development. I've
Mm-hmm.
started trying to read at least one book a week. Going good so far. I'm actually going to choose between two books tonight that I want to get back into. The books I've read before, so I'm just revisiting them, just going over some great points that I've gotten from those books. So I'm just,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I try to work on myself every single day in some form. And right now it's all about just getting that development into it. Touching on that whole COVID, the spikes that we've been experiencing here in the country.
Oh,
I
yes.
think a lot of people are just tired of
Hmm.
being home. I think the little, you know, time that we got when the numbers were low, I guess it was almost as zero at some point,
Yeah.
and people, were a bit glad to come outside, and a lot of people probably relaxed on adhering to the restrictions and the regulations with it. So this is the outcome, right? We get back a rise in numbers. So, as always, people, please let's try to continue to adhere to all COVID restrictions and regulations, and let's get this number back down to zero, right? So this week we are discussing recharging your attention, and rightfully so, because last week we just spoke about minimizing distractions, right?
Yeah.
So we're literally going from minimizing the distractions to now recharging your attention. And recharging your attention could take numerous forms.
Mm-hmm.
Just as we mentioned, minimizing distractions, when we're talking about recharging your, yes, recharging your attention, it still does deal with reducing certain things around you. It does deal with actually decluttering, all right,
Mm-hmm.
around you so that you actually have a clearer view, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're trying to have attention, you can't have something next to you that's blocking the vision that you have, and that could come in numerous forms. So Alistair, I'll let you take the head here, 'cause I know you have some points that you want to share with the folks tonight.
Yeah, definitely have some points to share here. Guys, tonight we as I said, we're going to talk about recharging our attention. Now, we have been speaking about getting into that mindset of focus and getting rid of distractions as the case may be. But one of the things that we had to look at as well, and is equally important, is sometimes we run ourselves so hard we could crash into a wall. We are so focused on getting productive. We are so focused on moving distraction. We are so zoned in into
Right.
the task itself, or to get this job done, or to get this accomplishment happening. It's like running your engine straight down on fourth gear, not easing up on the gas, and just X the board, and just hitting it like that, and pushing the limits on a car. That's how your mind also goes as well. If it is that you're pushing the limits on it, something will have to give sometimes. If it is that persons are familiar with car racing and stuff like that, or what they call NASCAR in the US, right? One of the things that make a person victorious is not the fact that they stay on the track the longest and drive the longest and they cross the finish line. Each time vehicles come in for a pit stop, and
Right.
a pit stop is very important. All right, you need to come in, change the tires, gas back up, and go again. And I think the big challenge that has happened here, especially for persons in this time that we're in, we're talking about during COVID, getting back out to work for persons who may have to go back in the office under restrictions, or persons who are working from home, or even persons who have even started different business ventures while at home. All that is well and good. All that is in terms of good. You have to get any focus. You have a goal. You're pushing for it as well. But there is a consequence for going so hard that you're not thinking about just getting that opportunity to recharge. You're just going, 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 going. And the big problem with that is that you can reach a point where you just either run into a wall, you literally just run out of gas while you're on the track. And we talking about mental breakdown that could happen, or your body could actually start taking a physical impact with respect to what you're doing. Now, that is, yes, it may be extreme, but it's also possible. And another problem that happens as well when you run too hard, you find that your mind not running on all cylinders at a time. When people attention span just drift a little bit, they're so focused on the work, and they're just trying to beat out items, that you find yourself reading the same page 5 and 6 times, and somehow you're still not able to get it, or you're trying to figure out something that's going on here, and it just up to a wall. I mean, I've had experience. I mean, way back in the day when I was doing programming and stuff, I'll be going hard on all kind of things way back when. And then when I sit down and I just trying to work on this, I'm like, I can't figure it out. 3 hours passing, 4 hours passing, and I can't figure it out. And I just do a simple thing as take a break for half an hour. Then when I sit down and look again, in 3 to 5 minutes time, I see the problem and able to resolve it.
Right.
So, I mean, some of us go through certain situations like that. What about from your perspective, Chris? You ever went through situations where just
Right. So what you're saying there, you see, people don't understand how rest is part of the
yes,
equation, right? That's why sometimes if it is working on a plan or a project or something, it's good to take a rest, move away from it, come back and view it with fresh eyes. And that way you realize you have a whole different perspective on what you literally just wrote. Whether it was
mm,
2 hours before, the night before, you actually get that fresh view on it. So a lot of people don't realize sometimes when they're going so long, and yes, Mr. Simon, that burnout happens.
yeah,
The wheels, in getting that stopping to get fine tuned. Rest is part of recharging.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We said the topic tonight, recharging your attention. Rest is part of recharging. Right? And unless you do that, what happens? You do get that brain fog. You do get that memory lapse sometimes. You do actually distract yourself because your mind is so tired. And I'm sure this has happened to most people listening here. You're reading
Mm-hmm.
something and you catch yourself reading the same line two, three times.
Yeah.
Or you're going down the paragraph and you're like, wait a minute, did I just read anything? It's like you didn't even read it. You're seeing it, but you're not reading. And that is
Oh,
because
guilty as charged.
you need to stop. You're actually doing yourself more harm than good there. You think
Yeah.
you're doing something, you're thinking you actually focus, but you're not because you are tired. And you need to stop. And as the example Alistair give, go into the pit, do that pit stop and get a little fine tuning before you go again. And that's something people need to be aware of.
Now, you brought up a couple points there, which are some problems people go through with respect to recharge. I think one of them we talk about is in terms of focus going all over the place. I think the second thing you talk about there as well is with respect to reading and rereading and rereading the same item over and over again.
Yeah, so you're tired.
Um,
You're not
yeah, you're
there.
tired. And you know, it's a dangerous thing that some people do as well too. If you're going on a particular task, some people think refocusing on another equally difficult task will help them out as well too. Thinking, well, if I get my mind
Madness.
off of this, that is madness. Let me tell you how this is how I interpret that as. It's like I'm going back to the same car racing thing. You're driving around the track, and around that track, all you're doing is making a left turn. That's all you're doing around that track, going and making a left turn, making a left turn. And they tell you, say, hey, I tired of this, So you go on and drive on the highway.
Yep.
Your path may be different, but you're still pushing that engine by
Correct.
driving on the highway. That doesn't recharge the vehicle. And it's the same thing that goes on with respect to tasks that you do.
Correct.
You may be trying to write some presentation or something like that, and you're concentrating on your brain going on, all right, I need to get this presentation done. I need to get this done. I need to get this done. And I say, okay, let me focus on something. All right, I'm going to do video editing right now. Especially if it is video editing, especially with sound and visuals and everything, is also a daunting task.
Correct.
You're thinking switching tasks or switching difficult tasks is going to make it easier for you. There's a Japanese saying, and I've always used this: he who chases after two hares or two rabbits could end up losing them both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that is a consequence if it is that you're just switching like that. You could end up not accomplishing or not completing any of the tasks. That is something that definitely happens even when I do work, and something I also tell my team as well too. Because it's a lot of items that people go through, a lot of tasks that they need to finish, all of these things like that. And they say, well, they're working on this, they're working on that, they're working on the other. So which one have you finished? Well, I was working on this one and I jump across on this one because I had an idea on this one and I went here and scatterbrain. Nothing is completed for the week. And then you have the next week task to do again with
Yep.
last week backlog. And you're just messing up yourself. You're just jacking up your whole mind and your whole physical body. That's why people get sick as well too, after pushing themselves for so long and so hard for quite a long time. It's only so far that you can sustain that. All right. I mean, you could try a number of examples here. You think Usain Bolt could, after running that 100 meter, could go ahead and run that same speed for a marathon? That's not happening.
No.
That is not happening. You're not built for that. All right. That's not going to happen at all. And you find out that there are big consequences for going down that particular road. So those particular problems, and it could really put a damp on your productivity. It could put a, it actually becomes, as Chris was saying just now, those same things in terms of trying to improve your productivity, but because you're going so hard, that becomes your distraction. Because now your mind not able to click as much, it becomes distracted when you're trying to get things done. You wanted to add something there, Chris?
No, just saying correct. And we're basically touching on things right now that take away your attention, things that causes problems,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to identify the cause first before we get to the solutions. And I mean,
Yeah.
I'm certain people can sit down and they can, if they really think about it, look at all the things that, remove their attention, or the things that has been draining their attention and they don't realize it, right? But it's just a matter of bringing it into focus.
Yeah.
We spoke about lack of rest. We spoke about multitasking in a sense, trying to do
Mm-hmm.
multiple things, thinking that we could just shift and maybe we'll come back. We could also, look at the fact that a lot of people don't plan properly.
That's right.
And because you don't plan properly, there's no given task that you want to actually give the attention to.
Mm-hmm.
So there are many little factors that we can look at that you may have out of place or unorganized right now that will be causing you to lose that attraction. So we will now, I mean, I don't have any more points I want to touch on before we get into some solutions to help people to recharge their attention.
Nah, say let's go into the
All
solutions
right.
one time, man.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to touch on a few. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I look at things being disorganized as one of the things that removes your attention or diminishes the energy that you have to
Mm-hmm.
give attention, right? Some people say, so far, can't pay attention, right? So, and that's because you're giving so much of yourself to so many different things. All right.
Yeah.
So what I need people to do is to actually declutter their lives, and not
Mm-hmm.
just in a physical sense. All right. Because we hear declutter and we think, well, they need to clean the house and whatnot. Not just that in a sense, because yes, a proper workspace does help that you don't have too much stuff around you distracting you. All right. But also in the form where you declutter the things that may be external to you. For example, you may want to start looking at reducing the commitments and obligations that you have. Now, no, I didn't say responsibilities, certain commitments and obligations, right? Decide if each activity or event or what somebody asks you to do is actually something you need to do or even want to do before you commit it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's one way of actually decluttering some of that space. And next thing, we talked about doing this last week, stuff like social media. If you've ever taken a break from social media, you realize how free you feel. You don't have a fear of missing out. You don't ever feel like you need to check your phone. You need to check whatever profile. When it is you relieve yourself of that, you actually give yourself more energy now to
Mm-hmm.
put towards whatever task that you have at hand, right? To help recharge that attention that you want, because we naturally give so much energy to managing, I would say managing identities across so much different platforms. So you have home, you have work, then you have social media. Social media being who you are on Facebook, who you are on Instagram, who you are on LinkedIn, who you are on Twitter, who you are on Snapchat. You're managing all these identities that are draining you. All right.
Yeah.
So you will want to, you know, cut back on those things to help you now recharge the energy that you have for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right, to go at whatever task that you have to do. All right. Another thing, as always, look at your daily routines. All right. Find out where your current pain points are. Can you address them by changing your schedule? I always tell people, plan your day. Do let your day plan you. Right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that takes away from you. Because all these things, you people say, but my day was real full. And I'm like, boy, you do so. you know what you doing all this so that your day have you that, because you did not structure your day accordingly. You did not look at your routine, the routine that you have, and planned it accordingly. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And lastly, I just want to say, don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah.
Right. You're looking at making sure you organize your life so you can actually recharge yourself, right? Don't be afraid to say no. Say no more so you can say yes to yourself, right? Say yes to yourself and what you want to learn and your goals and the things that will keep you aligned with your goals.
Yeah.
But if you're so busy saying yes to everybody else, As I said first, reduce those commitments and obligations, right? If you don't want to do it or you don't need to do it, don't do it. All right. So just wanted to share those points with you all.
Hey, thanks for that, Chris. One of the things, or at least the first thing I want people to really not take for granted, and Chris touching it, is taking good breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Taking good breaks in terms of when you're pushing ahead with your work. For some people, or we have heard solutions where people take 45 minutes in terms of the productive work that they do, and they take a 15-minute break. There are some other persons who will go for 90 minutes and then take that 15-minute break. I don't want to concentrate on the 90 minutes or the 45 minutes. I want to concentrate really, what do you do in that 15 minutes that you have? Chris
Mm-hmm.
touched on that one with respect to staying away from the social media, because I mean, some of the videos getting longer and they just find themselves just wrapped up in that because they just scrolling. Let me look at another and another and another. YouTube
Yeah.
master that. Some long Facebook videos that I have is master on that one as well. You want to look at something that is, something that is low effort and habitual, something that is kind of easy for you to do. Some people may do something physical. They may just go somewhere and just do 10 squats or touch it to something like that to get the physical body going and just step away from the desk for a little bit. Um, but let it be something that you want to do. Whatever the break is, it has to be something that you want to do and that you'll latch on to. If you don't like doing push-ups, I'm not gonna tell you in
Do
your
push-ups
50
there.
push-ups. If
Correct.
you if you if you don't like touching your toes, I'm not gonna tell you in a break, go and touch your toes.
Do
Do
some
something
do
that
some burpees.
yeah, do some burpees. Do something that you want to do. Other than going on the TikTok and the Instagram and the Facebook and all these things like that. Do something that should be, just something that shouldn't take much mental effort to do or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. What some persons do, they will say here, what, I have a little fiction book or something like that there. Let me read a one page or two page of that and close up and get back to work. Or they may go in and write the feelings in a little journal there, write a little paragraph in a journal and do something like that. They may go get a little snack or something along the line that is not going to be taxing on the mind to do. Something, yeah, a proper pit stop that you need to do. A lot of times people will try to intense items on their pit stop. That doesn't make sense, because again, that's gonna have your brain running again. You want to do something that will get you in your mindset, okay, I need to recharge or whatever the case may be. I have a personal pit stop, and it might be a little bit crazy, but I normally have like a Rubik's Cube. I would mix it up and I
Yeah,
will
yeah,
try to do that, and I
yeah.
will try to get all six sides or whatever the case may be. And I will do that during my break because I'm getting to see the colors, I'm getting to do that, and I'll try to see if I can solve the cube
I think
5 times in 15 minutes or
on the
something like that.
critical.
Yes, it may be nerdy, but hey, who cares? That's my pit stop and it works. That is mine.
Well,
Okay.
I'm glad you actually say that. Not to cut you off, I'm glad you actually said that
Yeah.
because as much as just like your physical body, rest is vital in recharging your energy, right?
Mhm.
And getting that recharging yourself. The same goes for your brain.
Yeah.
Exercising your brain does help. Yes, you need to rest. So there is there need to be a balance where you rest, yes, but you
Mhm.
must also exercise your brain. Now there you can read more, right? You can do that
Mhm.
like what Alistair does, getting the Rubik's Cube. I know a lot of people like my mom, she love crossword books, right? And we when you will of smartphones, there are a lot of brain exercise apps out. There's Lumosity,
Yes.
there's Brain Trainer, there is Cognifit, I believe in name. There are a lot of different apps that you can use to do little exercises and little tasks to help practice, train your brain, if you feel like exercise your brain, because it's something that you can do as well. And just like your human body, you need exercise to give you energy, just as much as you need rest to have recharge to give you energy. So it goes hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. I know some persons what they do, and it's real simple. Like I know persons who will just step away from the computer and just walk around the yard 3 times and then just come back and work. Just
That's
yeah,
some,
some people do that.
that's some OCD kind of thing. Around my yard 3 times and come back. It's like, what if rain is falling, dude? Like,
Yeah, or for some people they like to listen to a little tune,
yeah,
a little music or whatever in between. They like to listen to a little audio or a little, those 5 minute podcast episodes that they have out there to kind of do a little uplifting, these things like that. And for some people right now, they may call a friend, blog for a little 5 minutes. It all depends on who it is, eh?
well, I
Some
wouldn't.
people might go overboard and forget it at work and
Yeah, these ladies are, I mean,
uh,
anyhow, right. So,
real SpongeBob syndrome. They say, let me talk for 5 minutes.
but you see, that is
Few
distracting as
hours
well.
later.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So
so you had to choose it, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. But
Yeah.
I actually want to compliment Miss Smith Simon as well for what she mentioned there, and it's something people just like what we touched on in the beginning. When you take that break,
Hmm.
all right, and she mentioned she went to the hairdresser and she was looking good, feeling good, and boom, you
Hmm.
find that the juices was flowing, and that happens. Like
Yeah.
I am longing to see my barber right now, and I know usually when you get a fresh cut,
Oh,
right,
boy.
it's so good. So I understand what she's saying there when she went to the hairdresser, and she's feeling herself. That energy comes back because you're taking care of yourself right there.
Yeah.
That whole self love, self care. That is something very vital as well. So yes, that does work a lot. So treat yourself. That helps.
Hmm.
Treat yourself. Don't be afraid. Take a spa day, go by the hairdresser, go by the barber, get your nails done, get your feet done, some retail therapy if that makes sense. Some people that makes you feel good, do it. And I always tell people, do something every day that makes you feel like you
Hmm.
feel more of yourself every day. That could be cooking, that could be listening to music, right? That could be jogging, exercising. It could be, it could be sticking a little, smoke a cigar. It could be, you sit down for a glass of wine outside, play with your dog, something that makes you feel good and make you feel alive every day. That helps give you that instant boost. So yeah.
Yeah. My mind now run on something that has actually helped me think, and it just occurred to me, and it's pretty weird for me, but I sometimes do that. So, like for instance, especially if I'm working in the night, like around maybe at 8 o'clock, so when it's time for dinner and maybe we haven't cooked anything as yet, I will do like I might try about 7 or 8 different styles of scrambled eggs for the kids and the wife and everything like that, and put together something for them, put some seasoning. And I will actually do that little bit of cooking because I have a way of doing it because all right, this is my pet peeve. If I have to do fried egg, it can't have any burn mark or any kind of thing. I just drive them up a wall. Take your
Right?
time and do the thing, make it look good. It had to look hotel style, this kind of way like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
Not
feel like
not no, that is my personal thing. I will do that just to get into that thing. And I will do my own omelette, vegetable omelette, western egg, do my little thing like that and do different stuff, boil the eggs, stuff it, but real crazy thing. And
yep.
believe you me, that I will be in the middle of doing that and like, oh, so that was how to do that particular assignment. I will fix up that stuff and I'll go back and I'll be able to complete what it is that I need to do because that brought clarity to me. And
Yep.
that's just me personally. Yeah. Again, each person to each their own. But at least let it be something that is productive, that frees your mind, something that you like to do, you want to do. You don't just jump into another heavy, daunting task that you don't feel like doing and tell yourself that is a break. It's not a break,
It's not.
right? It's not. So your timing for it is also good as well. And um, I mean, it's something that we had to talk about, especially with respect to entrepreneurs out there, Chris, because a lot of them they try to be Instagram entrepreneurs, hashtag no days off,
You
this
see that?
kind of
You see that
thing.
nonsense? Yeah, we're going on. There's so much things that I want to debunk when it comes to this entrepreneurial life that people put out there with, you know, who's up at 2 a.m. working on their dream nonsense. Listen, Your dream and your goal can happen without you. So you don't get enough sleep and drop down. All right. Your goal ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
All right. We need to be a little more real with people when it comes to that. You can't pour from an empty vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if it is you are tired, if it is you push, and I always tell people the story. I know what it's like to go for days on end nonstop. I've experienced the short-term memory loss. I've experienced the blurred vision. It is
Mm-hmm.
scary, people. All right.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to use expletives here. It is scary AF. Okay. Understand that nothing scares you more than forgetting something that you literally just spoke of 10 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you're sitting down, you know you're normal, but you can't see. And it's only when you rest. And I remember that the weekend I knocked out for like a good 4 or 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
straight during the day, and I got up and I was normal. Eyes were clear, brain fog, everything went because I needed the rest. So when it is we tell people about going hard right through, anyhow, that's a whole next thing. We have to touch on that next time. But you know, we need to tell people the truth about this
Yeah.
entrepreneurial lifestyle and the stuff we see online on Instagram and people posting with those type of things. It is not. I mean, if your body can run on 2 3 hours sleep, great, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not for everybody, and you don't have to listen to the masses because everybody doing it means you have to do it. Cut that out one
Exactly.
time. All right,
Yeah.
you know yourself, you know your body, you know how your mind works, you know how your body works. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do that.
And that is another reason why we were talking about dissuading people from using social media as a break, because you will go on social media and you may see some of these entrepreneur gurus and you'll be like, wow, they put hashtag no days off. This is how I'm supposed to be working, be in the grind and all of these things like that. And then you set these unrealistic expectations about how you're supposed to work. And then you don't feel good about yourself in terms of what you have accomplished.
End up hating
And
it
then
actually.
yeah, and you need to be responsible for your mental and physical energy as well. You need
Correct.
to be responsible about that. Those persons who on the social media, and I mean, kudos to them on their own accomplishments and their good, but you don't know what meds they're taking to try to calm down themselves from anxiety, or you don't know in terms of what doctor visits that they have. You don't know their prognosis. They may be showing you one face on the social
Yeah,
media,
one part of their world, yeah, correct.
and you don't know the other part in terms of it right there. You don't know. So you know your own body, you know your own mind. Be responsible for your own mind and body and that energy that you have there. That is your responsibility. It is not theirs, right? If it is you need rest, you take that rest. You need to be able to do that. Yeah,
Yep,
Chris, you're just saying
correct.
something just now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I just saying that they just got a preview to a whole next conversation by itself right there.
Mhm.
But we don't wanna go too far from the topic tonight.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
Something that came to me as you were saying that people don't look at that helps recharge them. Um, Something I take very seriously as well, and I always encourage people journaling, right? Because you get
Hmm.
to put your current thoughts on paper so you can see it. It helps you get rid of certain emotions that you may be feeling at that time, right?
Yes.
You can be listing your accomplishments, stuff that you actually make you feel good about, all right?
Mhm.
And that actually helps you take the break as well from technology because you're there in the moment with yourself, listening to yourself and writing, right? And in combination with that, what people can do as well, right? Meditating, praying, all right? Spending that time, I always tell people meditating does not mean sitting with your legs crossed and chanting. It doesn't necessarily mean that. All right. It could just be you spending that quiet time, you know, paying attention to yourself, your body, listening to yourself breathe and feeling
Mhm.
that energy around at the time while focusing on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, the things you want to happen for you now. All right.
Yeah.
You're seeing the big goal and you're seeing the little things that you need to do. And that time of meditation actually helping you center. so that you can give yourself and give that task or that thing you have to do for the day that attention and that energy it needs to accomplish it. So that's two additional things you can do: journaling and meditation, always there.
And you wouldn't believe it, journaling, actually, I had that as a particular item, and I'll tell you two benefits in terms of the journaling. One, and you rightfully said it yourself, you put in your own thoughts at that particular time in terms of how you're feeling at the particular time and what you're doing to encourage yourself at that particular time as you write. And you're doing that within your break.
Mm-hmm.
The next benefit of the journaling as well, even if it is that you don't feel like writing, you can pick up that journal and read what you've done before in terms of the goals you would have accomplished, or maybe the feeling that you had back then. And basically, your own words are motivating you
Correct.
to help push you forward. And that is much better than hearing somebody else trying to motivate you and they don't know you personally. You
Correct.
wrote your words, you know you, and you know exactly what you were feeling at that time to motivate you. And especially if you
Correct.
really read back, you can actually see how you have grown from maybe 90 days before when you wrote whatever in the journal to now. So really important, have that journal, use that to write small little paragraphs, whatever the case for that day or for that
Correct.
particular time. Put your thoughts within here. That's going to benefit you so much going down the long term.
Agreed.
I do that personally. I'm telling you all that for
Yeah,
sure.
it helps.
Yeah.
It helps a lot. But people, I don't know if people think these things are, I don't know, beneath them, childish, teenager, like whatever diaries. I mean,
Yeah, only girls is writing diaries. No, that's false.
that's nonsense. Anything, any plan or anything you want for yourself, I always say put pen to paper. It's not about, I'm not saying go and do vision boards and all that. I'm just saying simply spend that time because when you put the focus there, where focus
Mhm.
goes, energy flows. We know that saying. All
Yeah,
right. So once you do that, you're helping align yourself for whatever it is that you want to do at the time. So,
great.
so I mean, I don't really have any more tips. I kind of give out all that I have. I know there's so much things. Oh, what I was going to actually say, when it comes to supercharging your brain, right? And this is something I will tell people look up themselves. All right, we are not, you know, doctors or anything like that, but something
Mhm.
that does contribute to proper brain health as well. Vitamin B,
Mhm.
vitamin B12 supplements. Um, it doesn't necessarily supercharge, well, it supercharges your brain and actually helps it to grow,
Mhm.
right? So it does two things, but I'll tell anybody, do your research. There are a lot of things that are good for you that helps your brain in terms of supplements. No, it doesn't have to be, at the pharmacy. There are things you can get from foods. All right.
Mhm.
So you can do your research, look up which foods give you high sources of vitamin B12, and that helps your brain a lot. Now we can go into stuff like the ginkgo biloba and all these different things from memory.
Mhm.
But I always tell people the more naturally better, especially if you can get it from our foods.
Yes.
Almonds are good for you. They say apple juice is good for you as well. You know,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's definitely the items that we need to be able to take as well to help. Yeah, I brought up a good one there, but I want to spend a little time on it, and that is sleep.
right,
I want to spend time on sleep. There is no substitute for sleep. The only substitute for sleep is sleep.
correct is right.
Okay. And I think we take that one for granted because I realize persons have a consistent work plan in terms of when you're going to work, but do you have a consistent sleep plan? I may wonder, what do you mean a sleep plan?
But
Do
yeah,
you
no,
go to bed on a particular schedule? Or some people it's called schedule. You know, some people will go to bed. Sometimes they'll go to bed 10 o'clock. Some people go to bed, they say, well, when I finish watching this show, they may go to bed 2 a.m. and all of these things like
early.
that.
guilty as planned. Yeah, guilty.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
Not
Listen,
my fault, eh? Not my fault. Sometimes the missus just put on a certain show and then leave me watching it. She's sleeping.
and the pass out.
I up till midnight watching Friends or something.
Yeah.
But that is the truth though. That is the
Mm,
truth. Of course, sleeping regime is important. Very, very important. Not
exactly.
everybody should run only 2 hours, 3 hours sleep. I mean, I tell everybody at least a minimum 6 hours, man. And if it is, your weeks are long like that, on a
Mhm.
weekend, yes, we have work away from work. You have the housework, you have to do laundry, cleaning, and whatnot. But
Correct.
find some time to detach, disconnect, and get some rest. Go play that. I know, yes, you all have a lot of people have children, they're up and about and they're wrong, you know. But when you can take it, don't play that. Don't play with sleep at all.
Irony behind this whole thing with respect to sleep. There are persons when they have the vehicles, they're very religious with respect to carrying their vehicles for a tune up every 3 months on the dot to make sure that it running copacetic in terms of all the changes that they need to do, change all the plug, change the oil, check the battery, all these things like that. And people are religious with respect to that. But with their own body, when it comes to sleep, anything goes. Run it till it started to drop down, then I'll go to the doctor. And,
Yeah,
and, and we tend to do that, unfortunately. Again, either because of certain habits we would have had back in school days in terms of studying or habits that we have developed, with respect to even right now with working from home and these things that are occurring. People's sleep patterns have changed. I mean, I'm
yes,
being honest with you.
yeah,
I'm very honest with you. Um,
yeah.
I at a time it used to take me as a 2 hour drive that I needed to do to get to work and everything. I don't know. I don't have that now. So you find that my sleep pattern will, or when I now started off, my sleep pattern was changed. Hey boy, I have a little more time to sleep
Correct.
or something along that
Another
line.
gap
Okay,
early
well,
again. Yeah,
yeah. So you tell us, well, okay, if I don't have if I don't have to do that 2 hour drive, well, I can stay up 2 hours later in the night now.
correct,
You understand? And
correct.
that have a way of backfiring on here.
Yeah, you start a new bad habit, you see, instead of
Yes.
continuing the good habit. Because now, when you do want to get up and do something, it's now a problem. You now find it hard. You now become sluggish in getting
Mm-hmm.
up. And if it is, you need to do something. You for you now, it's like, hey, I have more time in the night. No,
Yeah.
still go get that rest. Go get that rest
Yeah.
the same way. Yeah, that's so true. A lot
Yeah.
of people sleep patterns got jacked up. I have friends that didn't sleep at all. All of a sudden they're up till 2, 3 in the morning. Sometimes sunrise meet them, and they're going to sleep close to midday from the night before. And I'm like, what? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have a friend actually afternoon I was talking to, and she told me she's not going on sleep. And I was like, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, what? Now, granted, her business deals with dealing with the people from the East China and stuff like that. So I understand the time zone sometimes. But
Mm-hmm.
when it is you now going to bed 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you haven't slept since
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
That's
And,
not good.
and folks, this is a public announcement. Eh? Dropping asleep in front of the TV is not sleep. That is passing out.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
Dropping that is not sleep. Sleep is actually getting to your bed, have everything set, and you know you're going in for that particular set of sleep.
Hmm.
Honestly, just do a comparison. Try for 14 days, and I let in person know it. Try for 14 days. Actually, schedule the time that you are planning to go to sleep and do everything that you need to do. Have an alarm that will tell you, okay, all right, next half an hour, I need to be in my bed. You know, you're supposed to eat, even with your eating habits, all of that I want to talk about here because that helps in terms of recharging your attention. Some people figure, all right, let me eat heavy and let the mackerel knock me out.
Now that's
But that
madness.
happen.
Giving your body more work to do. That don't make any sense.
Exactly.
You're actually making your body more tired by doing that.
Yeah,
Especially on an evening, it's better to eat lighter. I know like
that's correct.
In the US, there are more dinner people. So they'll eat
Hmm.
a heavier dinner. Where for us, we are more lunch people in the Caribbean. So we eat a big lunch. But then some of us put down some serious meals in the evening. And just like now, being home with COVID, who works from home anyway, they
Hmm.
have big meals in evenings too, which
Yeah.
puts their body on more stress during the night when they're actually sleeping. They think they're sleeping, but their body is working with longer
Hmm.
digestive periods and stuff like that, which is
Yep.
not healthy at all. So something to actually help
Correct.
charge your energy is eating lighter on evenings. I know it's hard. I know we need a lot of nice food. All right.
Hmm.
I know we have a lot of cooks in the house, but try to eat lighter. I know sometimes that lunch was that's so good. You want to eat some more for dinner, but try to eat a little lighter. And
Yeah.
I must say we have some people in the comments here that real guilty, who don't want to sleep in the night. I want to know what games Miss Smith Simon playing from 9 in
Mm-mm-mm.
the night to 5 in the morning. I need to know.
Yes, some online game.
You
And
know,
this, yeah, and this is the thing, especially for persons who don't who eat real heavy in the night and then go and sleep.
bad.
Your body working, and then when they wake up in the morning, why are you so tired and groggy? The body was working.
Correct.
That's what was going on there. Body was going on hard overdrive there. Yeah.
You're saying that, and this is actually something I read this week, so it's so coincidental we doing this topic tonight.
Hmm.
If you lose, I think it's 90 minutes of sleep that your body was to get, right?
Hmm.
I'll double check, it was 90 minutes. You're actually, you actually lose 4 hours of productivity energy the next day.
And how that is a note I have here. For every 90 minutes you miss, you lose 4 hours of productivity the next day.
Kurt, you see, that is something I read this week. That is so serious. And
Yeah.
I recognize that with my own sleeping patterns where if I get up and I go back to sleep, if I don't sleep for the next full 90 minutes or a good hour, hour and a half, I I feel more tired than I like if I didn't sleep at all. And that's
Hmm.
because your body actually have those sleep cycles where it knows it gets a certain amount of rest. So when you break that, when you cheat that from your body, you
Hmm.
lose that energy the next day. You will think, well, I wasn't tired or nothing, but guess what? I'm sure you probably were just slouching doing nothing. You weren't
Yeah.
tired, but your energy level is not there. Your mind is not there. You're not feeling to do any work because you didn't sleep a little extra 90 minutes last night. And if tell me that is not true. If that has ever happened to you, put it in the comments. Yes. All right. Because I'm certain that has happened to many persons.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, and I had to admit, I am guilty at Charles at times.
You see?
And folks, really and truly, I'm coming back to this point. Plan your sleep time. You like to plan your alarm for when you're waking up and what you're going to do today for the day. Plan your sleep time as well.
Correct.
Schedule when it is you're supposed to finish it so you could go and get your rest. Schedule what it is that you need to do before. Make sure you drink your water, whatever the case may be. Put your water on the side of the bed so when you wake up the next morning, you have your water there to get your body rehydrated, whatever the case may be. And these are good points that you need to look at as well.
Right.
Have all of these things in place and be consistent. So if it is that your time for going in your bed personally is, let's just try a late time, let's say 10 p.m. Say that is the absolute time that you need to go and get some sleep or whatever the case may be. Make sure everyone turns in, well, if you have kids or whatever, let them turn in at a good particular time as well too, that they can get their rest. Um, you make sure that you set everything in place by 9:30. You should be in your bedroom, everything set up and everything like that. So you can go to sleep at 10. All right. And get those hours that you need. Your body is going to get that full rest.
Start
Try
dimming the
that
light.
for 14 days. Try that for 14 days.
Check
I
information.
am telling you, you're going to feel a particular difference in how your day going. You're going to
Yeah.
wake
Yeah.
up differently. your your mind in terms of how it firing off is going to actually act differently. So do
Yep.
your main rest in terms of on a scheduled time, get your body in that rhythm. When whatever you're doing in terms of productive work, get those short breaks in between. And those short breaks, and let me be very clear, rest is not idleness.
Correct.
Rest is
Correct.
not idleness. You know, some people say if it's not and if you're doing nothing, you're lazy. No, you're not laziness, but rest is not laziness. Rest is not idleness. Now, if you're resting whole day, well, yeah, that is a different conversation by itself. But schedule a time when you go into bed. Get those hours and everything that you need to get. If it is that you're going to try to sleep for 7 hours from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., try to get that and see what's going on. If it is that you want to do it from 10 to 4 and use from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. to meditate, write in a journal, whatever the case may be. But try to get those hours the right way and schedule it. Make sure every night for 14 days. Try it out. If it don't work, you can go back to your regularly scheduled program. But if it does, take a look at your productivity. And if you want to really track it, if you have never journaled before, and I'm not asking you to go and buy something brand new or like a get a normal copybook or notebook you
Yeah.
may have somewhere there. All right, just start on something. All right, and try to write down how you feel the next morning.
Next morning, yeah.
Yeah, the next
Daily.
morning.
Correct.
So we giving you a little assignment. Set a consistent time for when you're going to sleep. Get up at a particular time, a consistent time in the morning. Journal and take your breaks. And just keep writing in it daily. It's only for 14 days. You could do so much in 14 days. All right, simple stuff like that. And after a few days, kind of read back your items and see if it is a day, if there is a change. Is your day going better? Are you less cranky, more cranky after 14 days, whatever it is? But document what it is that you're doing. Have a
Yeah.
journal. Write
Correct.
how you're feeling. Do these things here, man. You're gonna see some changes.
Yeah. If it is you're married and have a significant other, ask them if you're less cranky as well. Right? I mean, just
Mhm.
say it.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah. Find out
you
if you're
know,
more or less cranky. You
yeah,
know,
well, there's a change in you. What's going on? I'm sleeping more,
sleep. I
And
know
so,
enough people, yeah, who because they're so cranky, they're vexed with oxygen. That is to tell you how bad it is.
well,
The vex. Yeah, it happens.
it happens. It happens. And for people like Miss Smith Simon and Miss Regis, all right, cutting down on those cell phone lights and computer screen lights,
Yeah.
you know, helps with going to sleep faster. I know most of our cell phones have that dimmer, that time dimmer, so it actually cuts the blue light. So it actually helps you, get your mind in that zone as you're actually going to get ready to sleep. That helps a
Mm-hmm.
lot. All right. So
Yeah.
you all can even try that if that will help help you with getting your sleep regime proper. And
Mm-hmm.
also with recharging. Now we're talking about recharging your attention, but a lot of this actually does deal with your body and your mind. Something Alistair touched on, when you wake up in the morning, you just slept all night, your body is actually looking for some water in the morning. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying not cold water. All right. Nice room temperature. Just drink some water on a morning. When you
Mm-hmm.
wake up, give your body that refreshing feeling like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
finally drink some water after a good 4 or 5 hours sleep of not having any at all and working through the night with digestion and whatnot, restoring yourself, give it some water. That helps a lot. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, great conversation tonight, folks. I hope the couple of tips that we gave you all were helpful. All
Yep.
right. Share this with anybody that you know that, could find the conversation useful. And
Yep. Yep.
I actually want to let people actually want to ask a question so that we can actually continue structuring the conversation where it would benefit you more. Would you rather we keep our conversation like this, free and off the cuff, where we actually having a direct conversation with you guys? Or would you prefer if we do it more seminar like, where, would you prefer the PowerPoint presentations with the pointers and everything? Let us know in the comments if you rather this way, or would you prefer a more seminar workshop type of conversation with us? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a great night. I do want to thank
Mhm.
all that tuned in. And as Alistair would mention, I know for sure, be sure to check us out on YouTube. All right. Please like, subscribe, and share with
That's
those
right.
who don't join us here on Facebook so they can at least see this episode and past episodes on our YouTube channel.
Okay, great.
Actually,
Thanks for
so
that, Chris.
when you can put the YouTube channel link in the chat in this one so people will be able
Mhm.
to see it.
Yep, I'm gonna put it there so you can pass it on to persons so they can go ahead, subscribe, and we'll also have this video here on the YouTube. So they'll be able to go ahead and look at it and like us. You can share that video with them. So I mean, they don't need to be on Facebook to be able to be a part of the conversation. So as much as possible, I'm sure you have folks out there who are not on Facebook, but they're on YouTube. So this is your way of being able to let them be part of the conversation as well. So we're going to put that link for them as well too in the chat so they can go ahead, click, like, and subscribe. So when they'll receive the notification as well. I mean, on Facebook, you're gonna get it first, but right after it's gonna be on YouTube as well, too, for persons to be able to get the videos and everything that I have out there. So folks, thank you all very much for a great night. Thank you all
Yeah.
for coming online as well, too. I hope that it was good. We had a great conversation here. I hope persons learned something in terms of our, as we say, the conversation right within here. So guys, um, tune in next time when we are here. I'm here, Alistair Sampson, and we have Christopher Cross with us. You all have a great evening and be safe.